Hey guys, okay, so I'm trying to figure out how everyone is going to get on the same page here. I'm trying to make sure that everyone can be on the same accord, but there's a saying that we cannot, or should I say, one man cannot make everyone go on the same accord because it's difficult for one person to try to save everyone. And that is true. It is difficult. Now, is it possible? Mm, I don't think it's possible. To a certain extent, yes, it is possible to save everyone. But I really feel as if you were to give everyone the knowledge of, or should I say, the answer to changing their lifestyle, and they don't have to do any work, you just automatically give them the help that they need, would that save everyone? And would it turn their life around so that they can stop doing what they're used to doing that will only make them struggle even more and probably end up in poverty, or they're already there, or just remained in the same middle class lifestyle, because it would be nice to have people to just say, you know what, if I really want to live my life the way that will allow me to prosper in the long run, I'm going to have to initiate something that's going to enable me to gain more, but at the same time, not putting so much pressure on my body. And I think some people get it mixed up. They aren't really aware of, it's like they are aware of what they're able to do in order to stop a 9 to 5 job, or to stop repeating a process over and over again that's going to enable them to not really grow in the way that they should be growing. I think people have accepted and have become satisfied with society's version of being satisfied or feeling satisfied, when in reality the real satisfied feeling is going to come from you being able to feel like you have everything that you need, you know, and you do have everything that you need, but some people feel they don't. And that's because there's something that's not right with, excuse me, let me fix this camera. Hold on. Okay, so I'm back. I'm sorry. The wind was blowing my camera out the way and I could barely see anything. So I'm trying to figure out how are we going to get everyone on the same accord and allow people to wake up and realize that what they feel is satisfiable to them. Is it really the honest way of how they really feel? Because there are many ways that people can be satisfied, but some people are limiting their satisfaction by what they are given and what they're able to deal with during that time. But people have desires, and those desires are going to come from what they're thinking about, what they don't have. You know, you're not going to desire something over and over that you already have. You know, really, normally you're going to desire something that you wish you had, or something that that you don't have. And I think that people have settled for accepting the smaller things in life when there are so much bigger options out there for people to have. And a lot of times, just by being tied into the normal 9 to 5 job, that can stop you from wanting to, or actually stopping you or slowing your process down for reaching the things that you truly desire, because you've been tied up into a 9 to 5 job. And by the time you come home, you barely even have time to do anything that you really desire to do, because you have to find your rest, and you have to obtain the same routines over and over again, just to repeat it over and over into the next day, into the next day, into the next day. And if you get any sleep over the weekend, if you're not working, hopefully you're not. But God bless you if you do, because that's something my grandmother used to always say to me. Just God bless your heart, God bless your heart for working, blah blah blah. I'm like, yeah, 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 but I'm trying to be somewhere else, and it was hard to tell someone. And this is what I wanted you guys to understand. You may have someone in your family, if you're a child, or if you are a teenager. We're all children, but if you're a little child, or you're a teenager, or whatever, and you have someone in your family who aren't letting you see your fullest potential by reminding you that the place that you're working in is not a fit for you, and that you should be somewhere else. Those are all signs that people should really pay attention to, because I've went through a family that had no idea how big of a person that I knew I was. And I've had probably, I'll say, one or two people tell me that, they seen a lot of potential inside of me, or they were able to tell that I was going to be someone or be somewhere that was a lot better than the situation that I was already residing in. And it really resonated with me, and it made me feel good about myself. And I would get that type of conversations with people every once in a while. And then the reason why it was every once in a while is because, I was mainly around people that, considered me normal. They considered me to be a normal person, and I am a normal person. But when someone, when other people consider certain people to be stars, or they consider other people to be very different, but are special because they have a godlike trait about them. We all have godlike traits, but when someone can always stop you and point you out, and let you know who you are, and let you know by um, reminding you that you are someone that they have never met before, and you are a really special person. When someone can stop and let you know that you make their day special, and the moment that they talk to you and let you know that about yourself, you can actually feel the presence of God. Like, who is this person? Like, oh my gosh, I'm a special person. Yes, we're all special, but some people really have to set you aside and talk to you and let you know that I see something different in you than anyone else. And if you are that type of person, just know that you are on the right page. You are on the right track. You are in the right mind frame, and your characteristics is already showing. What needs to happen is that you should find a way to escape, and it will happen naturally. I've had people, who I was considered to be around, that I didn't want to, consider myself in a healthy environment, because that's just something that, I was able to see within my own eyes. I was able to look at another person and determine if they were um, someone that I should be involved in inside of my own environment. And it would have been really, really nice if I would have had someone to come and get me and say, you know what, believe you deserve to be in this environment. I don't want to see you over here. I am going to make you a star. If you see someone that's a star, the best thing for you to do is to actually make them a star, because a lot of people find other people who are already stars. Like, for instance, Jay-Z found Rihanna. Rihanna became a star because she was already a star. And there was a story that was happening in the news, and it was actually I believe it was a homeless guy. He was homeless, and another guy found that he had a very good special talent by his voice, and he's now like in the broadcasting and radio. But it was another person who was established who found another person. He didn't take any chances. Now, the other thing that was pretty much hindering me from moving forward, I guess, um, is that, I believe people saw the star in me from when I was around the age of 17. and of course way before then. But around 17, 15, I was using social media, and I was a different type of person, but I was more of a I have to go finish school. You know, some people leave high school or leave middle school and go straight into their profession because they have that talent and that skill. Now I was ready, but the fact that I didn't know how important it was to actually still be able to leave a system that was designed to keep you in the same mind frame and doing the same type of things. I did not believe that, just dropping an education like that in regular school and grade school would have an effect on me in the future. Like, I just believed that not finishing grade school was just not going to happen with me. Like, no one could argue me down, tell me that, leave school and then go do what you want to do. No, someone had to really, really, really give me the answers to a secret society or something and tell me like, hey, you really can learn this here. You don't have to do this and blah blah blah. Because I would have been sad, and I would have wanted my family to come with me, and I would wanted to help everybody. And as I got older, this is why I say your your awakening would happen naturally because like I was already awakened, especially when I got out of high school. And I had a parent who put me out of the house. But you know, um, I've said the story before, but I've had a family that was not, really there for me, so I had to pretty much raise myself. So you can see anyone putting someone out of the house if they're not stable. It's like, okay, I'm a child of God. We all are, but I'm a real child of God, and it's almost like, how am I going to get myself out of this situation without being in someone else's wrong hands? Because I've already came up from an environment to where it was already, not so much of a good environment. So it would just be best for people to waken up naturally if they know that they are stars, and if they know that they are already influential people and they have something good about themselves that the world would like to see. I would definitely keep that in mind and work towards whatever it is and keep your characteristics, because people are going to continue to admire that about you. And I just believe that, you know, even though the system did put fear in my heart that, if I didn't finish high school and get my high school diploma, that everything around me would fail, and I would have a hard time getting a job over here and over there. And it just all just kind of, weird in a way, because it's almost like, okay, well, in reality, you can learn everything that you want to learn in less than 12 years, all in less than 6 months. Especially if you're going to come out of high school and only learn and know limited things that you were actually taught in school, if any of the things that you were taught. And that's pretty much it. I would really like to, you know, allow people to understand that, most people have accepted what the world feel is acceptable. And most people have accepted what they feel is the right type of lifestyle for you, but your right type of lifestyle is actually going to come in when you start to not accept what your heart does not want to accept. And that does not mean go out there and harm people and you can do what you want because that's your vengeance and blah 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 blah. No, I mean, you should be able, and you are able to not accept what society is labeling acceptable. I wouldn't want anyone else, because after high school I was able to just like, and after high school and after college, after I left my first and a half year of college, I left, and I wanted to immediately go into the entertainment industry because I felt like that was my field. And then I also um, did not, excuse me, it wasn't an entertainment industry. It was a news reporter. I wanted to be a news reporter, and I wanted to just, send my application off to somewhere else or maybe find a trade school. But people were telling me to go into the entertainment industry, and that was not none of my, desires. My desire was to be a news anchor. And there were other ways for me to get to that point, like going to Job Corps and things like that. But I actually tried Job Corps, and it was just a waste of time because certain ones have certain majors, certain classes for you to take, and you have to go all over state to find the right field that you wanted to study in. And then there was also elective courses, just like college. And I'm like, oh my goodness, this has got to be, crazy. This has got to be. We have done all of the elective courses that we could take, and now here we are again, thinking that we're going to be in our major or do some hands-on work. But even in Job Corps, they wanted someone to do electives in math and all this extra stuff. And I'm like, you have got to be kidding me. So, even if you did find a trade schools were actually giving people elective courses like language arts and stuff like that. I'm like, are you serious? I passed all of this stuff in high school and in middle school and in college. I am not, or some in college. Um, Math was my biggest issue in college because even though I passed it in high school, and it just got even harder and harder and harder. And I'm like, all we really need to know how to do is multiply, add, subtract, and divide. Everything else would flow in our life. We don't need to do anything else. Still to this day, I have not used geometry in a scientific sense. We have, but not with no. We're able to understand. You know, who to stay away from and who to involve ourselves around. Either you don't need geometry to figure out, um, what the right environment looks like. In the scientific way, it's pretty much like a form of geometry, but you really don't need to apply that to your everyday life. You really don't. You're either talking a good game, you're either working a good game physically, you're either singing, you're either dancing, you're either, being a cook, um, on the computer, but you're not doing math, and making a whole bunch of money because all of the math problems have been solved. So unless you want to be a teacher at school, I can see you doing that. Now, people who want to become a school teacher, they will enjoy that getting the electives out of the way. But what about Job Corps not having anyone have, the major being a teacher? You see, you need to go to a regular school. Well, then there's no need for them to go to Job Corps. They might as well just go to college. Oh, I forgot. People were going to Job Corps because they didn't have a high school diploma, or they didn't have a GED, or they needed to start somewhere, so they had to go to Job Corps. So therefore, if you see someone who has all the if you see someone who has every qualification like I had, then why not just move me straight into the field so I can do my hands-on training and forget about the rest of that stuff because it was wasting my time. And it really truly was. So I actually ended up, just accepting the fact that, the ways that I want to accept myself had to be accepted by other people. And if it wasn't accepted by other people, then I had to move on to some other people who would accept it. Because that is pretty much something that people have not been able to understand, that they have accepted more things that they don't even realize. People have accepted way more things, and it just made life a whole lot more, um, I guess I would say difficult. People's lifestyles people are difficult because they have accepted something that they truly really did not desire. They only accepted it because they felt like that was something that they needed to get by with something within their lifetime. And if you look around, many people are dealing with that. They're having to get by with certain things. Also, I just definitely couldn't see myself doing that because, well, anymore, because there's so much more in me than to just do something normal like a 10 to 9 to 5 and go to work and having to leave work because something went on at work, or nothing was really resolved, or having to go sleep in my car for a while because this landlord does not approve people's applications due to a system that was designed to not accept people who haven't been working at the same facility or job for 5 years or more, or 3 years or more. Then you have to show major check stubs, and I'm like, oh wow, this is really something. So most landlords will allow you to they will work with you, but nowadays it's like landlords aren't working with singled individuals unless they have documentation that they've been working for a long, long time, or they're maybe on disability and they have nonstop income coming in that way. Um, People have not been accepting unemployment benefits because they feel like that's temporary, but it's a pandemic, and expect for that to be going on for some quite a time. And then it's just like, let's see. Oh, well, yeah, of course. And I mentioned this in my other video that I made, but they really wanted people, if you have children, you'll be able to move a lot forward. And, that landlord that has a house from a private owner, you'll be able to get in that. Um, Housing authority, of course, you'll be able to get in that. Um, Duplexes and townhouses, you'll be able to get in those. But it's almost like, okay, well, what about, um, an equal opportunity for all? It's almost like you put aside the single person. They're like, well, if you're single, you should be able to work no problem, nonstop, and you should be having no problem. But really, I don't have a problem. The problem is the system not being fair in allowing certain people to fulfill what they really are. And at the end of the day, it's all up to you to fulfill what you really are from within. It's all up to you. But the fact that the system is allowing you to be um, different and not acceptable when it's time to accept your information to move forward in getting a house or just renting out an apartment, it's totally different. Now, you could buy a house all day, every day with the money, but when you're working on the income that the government is giving you by working a regular 9 to 5 job, it would be literally impossible for someone to, not go through a struggle or hardship with trying to maintain um, rent and keep up with a job, um, because you can literally, be ready to get a house today, and you have the money, but your application needs to go through a process, and then there may be people in front of you, and if you don't have any children, then the person with children is going to be in front of you, and it's not just one particular place, it's many places, so it was made it difficult for a person to um, not accept what was given to them because they were making it seem as if there was no way out, but to evolve yourself around a lifestyle that was designed around only for a system that was controllable and allowing people to get services built around a system that was here years ago. So what about a newer system to where people are single, no children, or even if they didn't have, the same job for the first 3 years or the last 5 years, as long as they have a way of income, you should give that person, a place to live because, if they have the deposit ready, they have the first month rent, they can, pay the utilities, all of that should show that, that person can do it. Now, if that person haven't been paying rent or anything like that, then that means that, an accommodation should be set for either making an arrangement with the pay because it's only you living in that facility or that building or residence, or it should be an accommodation to be rearranged to help people understand that You know, it may not really take all of a person's income to live somewhere. You know, so everything has been making it. I mean, people have made it very difficult for people to survive out here. So more people are living with someone that they know, or they don't have a place at all. You know, but or they're sharing rent. But what about people's privacy? What about a person who desires to live by themselves, and then when they get more comfortable, then they can start living with someone, but or having someone live with them to help share. But how can you expect anyone to become independent if you're forcing them to either live with someone or have someone live with them if you haven't even accommodated or made anything affordable for them to manage money within their own self? Think about that, please. Thank you so much for watching. I am going to go back in the car and stay warm because it's a little bit chilly. So I'll see you guys later. Bye.